there, but we got to. Shout out to Seven too. I came across his video last night, and his video was talking about this word, exonym. What's happening, OG? Glad you could tap in. You gonna wanna hit. You gonna wanna sit in for this one. Trust me. But shout out to Seven though, because I came across one of his videos, and he had this word exonym in it. You know what I'm saying? And when he was reading the definition, I don't know if it clicked for him, but it clicked for me. And I started digging. I got to digging in that bit. Hold on, I'm starting to find hella gem just off of one word. This is why reading is important, because it'll lead you to waters, man. It'll lead you to the waters of a lot of things, to make a lot of things make sense. So let's go ahead and get into it. Those who come in, they come in. We just have to review for the late comers. What's happening, Naganiji? So now, what is an exonym? An exonym is a name for a place or group of people that is only used outside of that place or group. Meaning, Seven on here, hey, he just went live. Hey, shout out to him though, man. Share the live to him. Hold on, matter of fact, let me see if I can bring him in real quick.
What's up, bro?
Hey, Seven. I just want to, I ain't going to be too long. I know you doing your thing. I just want to came in and just give you your flowers. Appreciate you for teaching me the word exonym, because you led me to some deep waters that we about to get into over here. So whenever you get done, no rush. Just, slide on in. You're going to like it.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Hey, but check this
Man.
out real quick. So I was just like, I was just doing something on just, looking up some things, right? So, this is what the Nile River looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the United States upside down.
That's crazy right there. So America, they showing us a warped version. That's crazy.
They pulled the okey doke, bruh. When people say everything is reversed, bruh, everything is reversed, bruh. They switched the south.
Same landmass. That's crazy.
They switched the south.
Mm-hmm.
They switched the south.
Hey, that's crazy, man.
Shit, I'm not trying to stay too long either before people start coming in and start acting crazy and shit. But I wanted to,
Right.
yeah, let this be known right here. They switched this
Yeah,
out.
man. Shout out to Seven for that one, man. Hey, that's deep. I ain't think about flipping United States. Nigga been flipping every other landmass, but this one,
Crazy, right?
that's crazy. Yup. Hey, but I'm gonna go ahead and let you get back to your thing real quick. I got a long live. I gotta go ahead and run through
No,
it. That's
I'll be over
crazy.
there.
All right. All right. So when you got to give credit to where credit due, man. Shout out to him for that. So, an exonym, again, a name for a place or a group of people that is only used outside that place or group. Meaning, when we in the outside world, this is what we call ourselves. But when we amongst each other, this is what we go by. Okay? So now, as the red highlighted part that I got right though, Navajo is an exonym and Moor is an exonym. We're gonna put a pin on the Moor, because I got a separate live on that one explaining that. But we're gonna focus on this Navajo though. I told you I was getting back on my Indian business. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna tap back into spirituality, but just get this history real quick. Navajo is an exonym. That's not what they call themselves when they amongst each other in the powwows and shit like that. This is what they tell you. Alright? But yes, go and read these definitions real quick, and we're gonna keep it going. Yeah, like I said, put a pin in these bottom ones. I ain't gonna hold them up too much. I know y'all got some questions on them if you already read them, but we're gonna keep it going real quick. So the Navajos, the Danes, what are they? Who are they? Oh man, say, and you know this how? Because I read. Reading is fundamental. Research is amazing. That's how I know this. So shout out to everybody that's in the live. Like the live, share the live. If you're new to the page, go ahead and hit that follow button. And we're going to go ahead and get into some deep diving waters. You feel me? So now, with that being said, you know what I'm saying? We're going to go ahead and start it off like this. So now, Athabaskan peoples, which I know I butchered it, but who cares right now? I'm trying to get to a point. So, the Athabaskan people, right? Who are them? Relations with the Athabaskan migrants also shaped the course of New Mexico's history in the years before the arrival of Spanish. The Athabascans were the ancestors of the modern Navajo and Apache people. Stop. What's happening playing no games? What's happening, Kels? Stop. Who first to understand who these so-called Athabaskan, or however they pronounce it, people are, we got to go back. We got to go way back. But they call themselves Dane. All right. Or Diane. All right. Let's go way back. Now, let's go over here to, is Athabascans Eskimo? Of course. They're Alaskan natives. And you know, there's a lot of different tribes. There's actually 5 main tribes of Athabaskan Eskimos. And it's ironically because there's 5 civilized tribes. But put a pin in that one right there too. Right? But the Athabascans are interior Indians of the interior of Alaska. All right. And this is what they look like right there. You know, I throw a picture right there, but I'm going to blow it up. I got a lot of pictures. But let's go back. Let's go back real quick. We got to go way back first. We got to go back to ancient times. I'm talking about we got to go back to like BCs. You know what I'm saying? We got to take the people way the fuck back. I'm talking about like way the fuck back into ancient times when there wasn't no first peoples of America yet. When you have Eurasian ancestors, Northeastern Asian ancestors meeting up in one spot, mixing, as you can see right there, mixing, creating your first peoples of America. Oh, hold on. Don't throw no shade yet. Don't throw no shade. Uh-oh. Roll call. Everybody good? Y'all straight? And I also got a document of a geneticist doing genetic work on a 14,000-year-old tooth that they found in Eurasia, which is a direct link to the first Americans. A direct link. All right? It ain't no beating around the bush link. It's a direct link. All right? An ancient tooth uncovered in Russia is unlikely to do much bridge Alaska's rural urban divide. But it does appear to indicate that the Alaskan natives and the Caucasians, who later followed them to North America, originally came from pretty similar locations in Eurasia. My God, there you go, Trill. Yeah, North Eurasian Caucasians. All right. This is the geneticist document. Paleolithic to Bronze Age, Siberians revealed connections with the first Americans and across Eurasia. This was published 3 years ago. We're going to read it. Well, you'll see what these, so, you got these mixtures. I told you, a lot of these people's already mixed before they got here. So when you get these folks coming here, you get the 5 Alaskan Native tribes. All right. You get the 5 Alaskan Native tribes. Matter of fact, let me do a side by side. So All right. So, as you can see, my finger. So you got the ancient ancestry right there, what we just read, North Eurasian and Northeast Asian ancestry meeting up in the spot, mixing, boom, creating offspring. They migrate, which becomes your first people of America, which they come through Alaska and Canada. And as you can see at the bottom, the Athabaskans are the children of that mixing. So the Athabaskans are the children of the North Eurasians and the Northeast Asians. When they mix, they created, what's that in tab? They combine to create the Athabaskans, right? So the relations with the Athabaskans migrates also shape the course of New Mexico's history, which we're gonna tap into. But the thing about it is that they are the ancestors of the modern Navajos and Apache. So who are the Apache and the Navajo? They are Alaskan natives that migrated to Mexico and New Mexico a long time ago. I understand, Tab. I appreciate that. All right, but we're going to continue going, though. And they fanned out across the region in smaller bands after their initial arrival. As mentioned above, scholars continue to debate the exact time frame in which they came to New Mexico. The term Athabaskan refers to the linguistic group for which these people descend. One school of thought maintains that the migrants left their former homes in present-day Western Canada in 1200s, arriving in the Puebloan region in mid-century. Others argue that their arrival came much later on the eve of Spanish contact. You don't say, right? Now, we got to do side by side so you can understand something real quick. Where my side by side at? Don't be hiding from me. And I'm going to show you what the Athabaskans look like. So, matter of fact, let's go ahead and go through the pictures real quick. The Athabaskans and the tribes that descend from them. This is what they look like. What's happening in Southern Niji? Effect. Here's what they look like. Picture 1. Y'all let me know after y'all see it. Just press a 1 so I know to keep sliding. Cool. Here's another tribe, the Athabaskans, and the descendants from them. And one of these tribes of Athabaskans, they come from a region in, like, I think Canada or Alaska, where there's a mountain that literally connects us to Asia. Now remember what we just read. Their ancient ancestors were already mixed with who? The so-called Caucasians, or your North Eurasians and your Northeast Asians, right? So this is how you get this phenotype right here. And we coming across some pictures that, hey, it's about to get juicy because y'all about to really see something. Because they didn't just went to Mexico. They also went to Florida too. They went to Florida too. But this is an Alaskan native. Athabaskan. You know, one of she looked kind of swarthy over there. I mean, they both look a little swarthy. But these Alaskan natives, Athabaskans. Notice the dude with the hat. You seen the hat, the feather. You seen that look before, right? Here's a backup picture of them. You've seen this before, right? Trust me, you've seen this before. And I'm going to tell you where you've seen it before. If you go pull up the Seminole Native Americans, and you have to type in Native Americans. That's why they say American Indian or an Alaskan Native American. They just call it Native now. Athabaskan. But here's the thing though. Everywhere you've seen them, you've seen us. And everywhere you've seen us, you've seen them. Somebody got to tell me why is that. Alright, let's keep it going. And they all share the same language. It's an Athabaskan language. So when they come on here speaking that language, like, what's your language? And they get to talking their language and shit, that ain't real American. That ain't what we know as American Indian language. That's Alaskan Native languages. Athabaskans, or however you pronounce it. So they're not even speaking Ojibwe, like Mississippi. They're not speaking Tiano, like when they say canoe, ham hock. Nah. Y'all gotta listen to them. Y'all listen to them. Are Athabaskans Eskimos? They are most definitely Eskimos. They are Alaskans, indigenous people. Even before the United States bought Alaska. Hint, hint. Right? So they are Alaskans, indigenous people. And they are Eskimos. The Navajos and the Apaches and a lot more that descend from them are just Eskimos that left Alaska and came down south a long time ago. It's why none of them can tell you a Trail of Tears story, because they don't have one. They didn't come from the Trail of Tears. They came from Canada, Alaska, and some came from Russia. And they migrated down the coast of the West Coast, and they entered Mexico, New Mexico, Arizona, and all those West Coast areas. That's why can't none of them tell you nothing about Mississippi or Georgia or South Carolina or North Carolina. They can't tell you. Only very few can. The ones that left from over here and went to Oklahoma with them, because Oklahoma is where us over here and them over there ended up in the same spot. So a lot of them end up mixing too. So now, what is in so-called Afro-Native? See, an Afro-Native or an Afro-Indigenous people, it's a play on words. Because you can get one of them and mix them with one of us, and now you're Afro-Indigenous, as they would say. Pay attention to the twins that come on here. They have their phenotype. Flat face, little eyes, thin nose, little lips. The so-called Afro-Indigenous people of their side look like them. They just melanated. Versus ours, it's different. He said indigenous to Africa. That's cool. I mean, a lot of y'all indigenous to Alaska. I mean, it is what it is. I said in a unique sense. Glad you could tap in like always. Welcome to class. So, anyways, back to class. Like we were saying, the Athabaskans, or however you pronounce their names. Alright? What led me down this rabbit hole? Seven. When Seven taught me what an exonym was. And an exonym, the definition and the example was Navajo is an exonym. That means that they only call themselves Navajos in front of us and in public and when they're encountering. But behind the privacy of their own domain, they don't call themselves that. They don't even refer themselves as Navajos. That's what an exonym is. Moor is an exonym too. When you out in public and shit like that, you refer to yourself as a Moor. But behind closed doors amongst yourself, you're not that. You're something totally different. Peace, peace.
I'm just being nosy.
Oh, okay. So, you know, that's how they do. Hold on, I gotta switch this so I can see real quick. Here we go. So, as we continue to flip, it's gonna continue getting in. So now, I've been working on this shit for a week. Hold on, where we at? Boom, here we go. So now just more on it now. So like I said, there was an ancient tooth that was uncovered in Russia, unlikely to do much to bridge Alaskan rural-urban divide. But it does appear to indicate that Alaskan natives and Caucasians, who later followed them to North America, originally came from pretty similar locations in Eurasia. I have the genetic document of the science that they did on that. Since people like genes and genetics and science, I have that. And then down here with the Athabaskan highlighted D-E-N-E, Dane, and they also have it D-I-N-E, and there's an island in the middle of Alaska. Same don't mean it. Y'all will figure it out. So now, hold on, I gotta move this. So, like I said, so their ancient ancestors started up here, right? Their ancient ancestors. You know, ancient North Eurasians, ancient Northeast Asians. They met in one similar spot right here, the hot spot. Boom, had kids. The descendants of this migrated and became your so-called first people of America. And you see, as they come down here, they came through Canada and Alaska. This is why when you get on the panel, this is why when you get on the panel, it's why when you get on the panel, a lot of natives that will mess with you will be ones that come from Canada. Some that'll come from the Inuit folks. You'll get the New Mexicans. You'll get some Mexicos. And it just mainly be Apache and Navajos for lack of terminology. So now, again, side by side. Alaskan natives, the Athabaskan people, it's five of them, and ironically, it's 5 civilized tribes. Athabaskan, appreciate that, Unique. Why you left? Why you dropped down? You could have stayed up. And like I said, the Athabaskans are the ancestors of the modern Navajo and Apache. Now, when you come over here, this is what they look like. One tribe of them, Alaskans, Eskimos. Now, when you drop down to the Seminoles, I'm just saying. He said, oh no, they're Alaskan now too. Oh no, I'm not saying us. I ain't come from no damn Alaska. My people from Mississippi. Ain't nobody claiming Alaskan over here. You should sit down and just listen. Oh no, they're claiming Alaska now. No, I'm teaching Alaskan history, actually. Welcome to class. So, like I said, Seminoles, phenotype, Alaskan natives, because the Athabaskan people, the tribe that the Navajos and all them come from, they migrated to New Mexico and Florida. Ironically. Alright. So when they get to speaking that language on y'all panels, talking about what language do y'all speak and all of that type of shit like that, they speaking the Athabaskan language. And all of them can communicate with each other. Don't let them say no shit like, it's different languages. It's all, they speak the same damn language. Just a different accent. Alright. So let me read one more time. So now, the term Athabaskan refers to the linguistic group from which these people descend. One school of thought maintains that the migrants left their former homes to present-day Western Canada in 1200s, arriving in the Poblacion region in mid-century. Others argue that their arrival came much later, on the eve of Spanish contact. The Tortoise Warrior, I appreciate that. This is all true. You know, I pride myself on real history. Some people don't know their history. Even the ones that come on our panels and be loud and call us wabos and shit, say we indigenous erasing when we just exposing all indigenous people on this landmass, shapes, colors, phenotypes, everything that the so-called colonizer, the real colonizer, hid and took and ethnocided. Okay? I said it's the imaginary black man. It's just funny.
Was you going to do that?
So, but a lot of folks don't want to be known as Alaskan natives or descendants from them, even though it's documented. You know, there's nothing to be ashamed of. And you can see the cultural symbols, you can see the cultural similarities, if not the same damn culture. I done watched all types of powwows on this TikTok live from natives that be showing it. I done seen them from Alaska, I done seen them to Oklahoma, and I done seen them to New Mexico. It's all the same drum beat, it's the same chant, it's the same dance, it's the same feathers, it's the same festival, it's the same powwow. So how can somebody look at us and say, dead in our face, when we get a Navajo or an Apache on our panels, and say, we are not Alaskan, or we did not come from Alaska. We are not Alaskan natives. Yes, you are. It's in your ancestry. It's in your culture. So nobody is stealing Alaskan native culture. Nah, we ain't doing that. Because for once upon a time, we shared cultures. This is why there are certain similarities amongst some other tribes, especially the ones on the West Coast. Then they kicked you off 7. That's crazy, bit dog. That's the cognitive dissonance. They are Alaskan descendants. Yeah, cosmic brother. They'll argue us up and down. The same people that like geneticists, the same people that like DNA, tell us to go take a DNA test and all this. And when we use genetics and DNA tests that has always been provided for centuries about them, they'll look at us and say, you're believing the white man's science. But you're telling us to go take the white man's science when you tell us to go take a DNA test. Make that make sense. How is it good for us? I mean, how is it good for you to say it to us, but it ain't good for us to say this? Like, what? don't make sense. So yeah, not the Pablos. I know about them. Actually, when the Navajos, when the Navajos ancestors came down, they met the Pablos and they intermingled with each other. I have that too. I was gonna read that as well too. So but they do have the blood, but they are mixed as well. But again, the Alaskan natives was already mixed before they even came over here because of their ancient ancestry of North Eurasia and Northeast Asians. They met right here. Y'all know the Mongol and Genghis Khan attack and all that type of history and shit. You know, up here, boom, the kids. You know what I'm saying? So that's that right there. So they was already mixed when they got here, right? Now, when you get here and you mix them with copper-colored tribes of America, then you'll start getting like dark versions of them. You know what I'm saying? That's when you start seeing those that you be like, man, this is dark Siberians, of course, because of the copper-colored tribes that was already here when the first people got here. I don't know why people think America was empty when it was people that was already here. No matter if you say Spaniards got here or Africans got here or the first people, no matter who got here to this landmass first, there were people from the soil already here because there were mounds and pyramids and artifacts and structures and everything dating back to 400 BC. 400 BC. So that means it was people that was already here when all these other folks was getting here. Okay? But I digress. We're gonna continue reading and pull back. Pull back one time. You feel me? So now, what's happening, friend? So now, let's do a little reading because I don't know what it is about my generation and other generations that they hate reading. Everything you read do not come from the YT man. Some shit actually comes from Alaskan natives and the Navajo themselves from their community. And yes, I went to their actual community website and looked at the history and screenshot it, and now I'm about to read it to you. I told you, Los read from all walks of life. I don't care what skin color you are. If you teaching real shit, I love it. Okay? I don't care what skin complexion you is. You can look like a fucking giraffe and a monkey mixed with a fucking snake. As long as you teaching some good shit, I'ma listen. Okay? Because I love knowledge and information. Now, the Alaskan communities on Heerman's route. Listen. Alaskan indigenous people, who are jointly called Alaskan natives, can be divided into 5 major groupings. That number 5 is important. 5 major groupings, all right? The Aleuts, I know I'm about to butcher all these, so fuck with me. So the Aleuts, the northern Eskimos, the southern Eskimos, which is the Utes, the interior Indians, which is the Athabaskans, which is what we taught, which is the ancestors of the Navajos and Apache. Shout out to Anna Apache, who don't know who her ancestors are. And every other Navajo that came to our panel disrespecting us and calling us a wabo and reporting our page and we're not Alaskan, we're not Eskimo. Boy, stop. Well, if you got a problem with this information, you need to go travel to Alaska and go to the Hairsman Route community and talk to them. Don't talk to Los. Your beef is with them because this is what history is telling. I'm just reading. I never knew you can get in trouble for reading. Shit. Now, at least I ain't on the corner and standing in front of stores and brainwashing brothers and shit. I'm reading. Alright? So now, the interior Indians, the Athabaskans, and the southeast coastal Indians, right? You got 2 names in there, so that 5 just turned to like 6 or 7 because you got 2 tribes inside that parentheses. Okay, these groupings are based on broad cultural linguistic similarities of people living contiguously in different regions of Alaska. They do not represent political or tribal units, nor are they the unit Native people have traditionally used to define themselves, meaning that there is a difference between an Alaskan Native and an American Indian, which is what we've been saying the whole time. Because when Alaska was once Russia, this was still America, and there were American Indians here. That is facts. And there is a receipt of the purchase that the United States did to get Alaska to become one of the states. And they bought it from Russia. There is a receipt for this. You can't, so everybody love facts. Where your proof? Where your sources? Man, this shit is out there. This shit ain't hidden for real, for real. You just gotta wanna read it. There's a receipt for this purchase. Just like there's a receipt for the Louisiana purchase. But the Louisiana purchase had more, it was some more crooked shit with that one, with that receipt. But there's receipts. The United States is a corporation. And one thing about corporations, they gonna keep a paper trail. They gonna keep receipts. They gonna keep documentation. In the United States of America, pride themselves on documentation. Because they need actual documents so they can keep track of it. Certain shit they can't lie about. Certain stuff they can't lie about. Because whether you believe in spirituality or not, karmic retribution is a real thing. Alright? So them telling you the truth or half truth or putting it in plain sight or twisting it up and all that type of stuff, that's them trying to kind of balance out their karma because of what the guiltiness that they feel a little bit, even if they even feel guilty or whatever. But everybody's scared of the universe in one way or another. But I digress. We ain't gonna go too deep like that. Shout out to everybody that's in here. Shout out to the OGs, the in-betweens. You know, shout out to Unique Sense. If y'all haven't tapped into the candles, go ahead and check out the sister candles. She got all type of spiritual candles, fragrance candles, meditation candles, manifestation candles. You know what I'm saying? Dragon blood, bring in prosperity and positivity. You like that thing with the windows open? You know what I'm saying? Check out. So now, hold on, Louisiana, Real Fat Bass, what you said. Supposedly the Louisiana purchase was only a couple streets and now the whole land. We're going to touch on that. Did you know they have a mountain in Alaska? And it means Grandpa Navo, yeah. A lot of us believe it or not, Turquoise Warrior, a lot of us been dropping all these type of information on all this type of history like this, and we get called so many crazy names. They be calling us conspiracy theorists. They be calling us liars, wibos. They didn't went as far as to go to Jim Crow stereotypes and call us all crackheads and all, just get real disrespectful just for reading books in history. You know, because I don't know about everybody else, but when I came out and I was talking about $5 Indians, I was talking about Caucasians, nigga. Because that's the only ones I knew about in history. That's who I was talking about. The colonizers. Them boys came, paid $5 to get their name on the Dawes Rolls. That is facts. And the person, the Dawes Rolls, what's his name? Charles Dawes? If you do the background on him, he got connections with the dude with the funny mustache and his regime, but I ain't going too far into that one. So that's why I ask everybody on every live, those who don't like us, those who's cool with us, do you even know who the enemy is? Do you know who the actual colonizer is? Because everybody be pointing fingers at people who is in a less position. People done called me a colonizer, and nigga, I work a 9 to 5. Who am I colonizing, bro? I'm trying to colonize my child to do right. I ain't got time to be worried about millions of people. My people been in Mississippi.
They doing their
chilling.
Job,
You see what?
job. Ain't no way everybody know who we are, but cause they all got a hand in it. Everybody been benefiting off of it, but us.
That part too. What's that? Oh, you right on time, big dog. You hit the juicy part. You be coming in at the juicy part.
Send your order off on my way to work though. It's already bagged up and ready to go.
They don't baby boo till we boo. But we gonna keep going though. We gonna keep going. What's happening? Originy sounds. Alright. So now, let's read the side right here though. Alright, let's read it now. So the Athabaskans, I know I'm butchering this, so forgive me, but Athabaskans is a word every New Mexican should know. They ain't say some, they ain't say a few. They said every New Mexican should know. Here's why. Athabaskan is a family of languages spoken all around the state by its Apache and Navajo speaking tribal members. Beyond the Southwest, the tribes who use the Athabaskan languages stretch as far as to the North Pole. Where an Apache at? Oh man, look, I ain't bothered that girl in 2 years, but look, man, you done called me so much wibos in the past. Why you ain't tell nobody your people is from the North Pole? You probably didn't know that. You probably didn't know that. But anyways, we're gonna continue going. Here's a real life example. Many years ago, Joyce Begay Foss, education director at the Museum of Indian Arts and Culture, said that her Navajo grandfather found himself in Burrow, Alaska, the northernmost city in the United States. To the surprise of the local tribe he was staying with, he could understand their language and carry on basic conversation. How was this possible? The answer is Athabaskan, a cluster of 53 related indigenous languages whose tribal speakers could be found from Alaska and the Canadian Yukon to Oregon and Washington, as well as much of Arizona, New Mexico, and northwestern Mexico. I'm going to say that again. 53 related indigenous languages whose tribal speakers, and when I mean indigenous, we talking about the Athabaskans, we talk about Alaskan natives, we talk about a history that began in Eurasia, right? All right. So now, 53 related indigenous languages whose tribal speakers can be found from Alaska to Canada, to Oregon, to Washington, to Arizona, to Mexico, to northwestern Mexico. In other words, Navajo, Plains Apache, the Chiricahua Apache are all Athabaskan languages and speaking people. Damn. The natives must be watching from the hallways. I'd have been called all type of ghettos and Africans by now. What's happening, Priya?
What's up, Los? I just came up here to tell you that you really just cracked the code, because there's no other way to identify those groups of people without calling them Native American. But you know, they also identified us as the languages that we spoke. So not for nothing, you just dropped a big fucking jewel, because I just pulled up 5 books on everything. They add your culture, fucking conferences they was having to help them, the reservations on the Western Hemisphere, because they didn't really know too much about agriculture and stuff like that. Like, I pulled up another book. That's how I know what you just posted is a fact, because that whole line of them explaining how these are the descendants, the Navajo and them is descendants of the Athabaskan people, is in the book. Mm-hmm. So it would be crazy how you look up something on the internet and they be like, oh, that's something. But I got the source of where the internet got that shit from. Like, it's crazy. But I'm going to drop down. I just want to let you know that, because I'm going to be looking more deep into this, because, yeah, I never knew what they classified them people as in terms of their language. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So this a big find. For real, for real. Shout out to you, Los.
I appreciate that. He said, bro, I heard NAs were actors in circuses. Yeah. Yeah, man. Look, they was actors in circuses and they was actors in the movies too. When they was showing y'all these Indian movies back in the day when our grandparents and them cowboy, that was them. They was creating a false narrative, transportation theory narrative, what I've always been telling people, and motion pictures is the most powerful propaganda tool at the United States disposal. They was hiring them and they was already forming the MK Ultra and changing. After they ethnocided and did what they did to the Mississippians and everything on the Southeast, they painted this whole picture that this is what all indigenous people look like over here, and you have to look like this to be indigenous. And a lot of people fall for it. Even the younger natives of today, they fall for it. They say it. I heard them say it on our panels. Well, you guys don't look like us. They think all indigenous people look like them because that's all they were told. That's all they were shown. That's all everybody was shown. That's all everybody was told. Just like for a long time, people didn't even hear about so-called Afro-Mexicans. Like, now you're starting to hear about it because now they're starting to speak up. For a long time, people never knew that they were super dark people in Hindustan and the Jura tribe of Asia and all that, because the media in the world, they want to keep your brain in a box. They want to keep you docile. They want to keep you indoctrinated. They don't want thinkers. They want workers. How dare you crack the code to history? You're supposed to be making shit for me to keep getting rich on. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. Not knowing that it was a whole play and a scam in the first place. This is why a lot of their elders know the truth. This is why you don't see none of their elders calling us wibos and none of that. You only see the young ones. You only see the young ones. You don't see their elders. And their elders is on here. Trust me, their elders got a TikTok. And they be watching us. They don't never join the panels or nothing. Because they know, bruh. They know what we speaking is real. And then some of them did mix with the original American Indians here. So this is where you get your quote-unquote Afro-Indigenous. This is why I say the next time y'all see the little twin Tayano girl that get on here and shit, look at her features. And look at they features. And look at our features. This is where you get that so-called Afro-Indigenous, but you're just Afro-Alaskan native. Because I dare y'all to go look what an Afro-Alaskan native. Y'all know I'll be typing in outrageous shit in Google and pulling up the pictures. I left these pictures out because I want y'all to do this. Go type in what an Afro-Alaskan native look like. I'm gonna leave that one for y'all. So this why you get pushback from a lot of them too. Y'all, man, look. My grandmama told me that all skin folk is your kin folk, you heard me? And I'm just saying, but I want to read this document though, this geneticist report. So I want to read this geneticist report real quick for everybody. All right. And the geneticist report is Paleolithic to Bronze Age Siberian reveal connections with first Americans and across Eurasia, right? So it begins to say, in brief, genome-wide ancient DNA data from the Lake Baikal and its surroundings, comprising a time intersect of 10,000 years from the Upper Paleolithic to the early Bronze Age, reveals deeply divergent ancestry that links Upper Paleolithic Siberians and the first peoples of America in a complex transition between earlier to early Neolithic and early Bronze Age populations of Siberia. The highlighted areas up top are the Upper Paleolithic Siberian shows a deep link with the first peoples of America. The second one is the 10,000 year continuum of ancient North Eurasian ancestry in the Lake Balakai region. The third highlighted area is the Neolithic to Bronze Age population forming occurred through prolonged local admixture. Then the last one is long-range human and Y plates mobility across Eurasia during the early Bronze Age. All right, flip the page. You was about to say something, brown sugar?
I like the
I know. I want everybody else to look it up and come back and holler at me on the next live and tell me what y'all seen. Or probably a little bit later today. What's up? Somebody sent an invite. And it also reads here when you flip the page. Let's see where we at. Oh yeah, here we go. So the summary of it, right? Why they put it in blue? I can't read that shit in blue. Hold on. Okay, so they're just reiterating what we just read with the summary. But the introduction of it just talks about, the Lake Baikal region in Siberia has been inhabited by modern humans since the Upper Paleolithic and has a rich agriculture record, right? And in the past years, ancient geonomic studies have revealed that the admixtures of that region, it was numerous admixtures of that region, which, when I just read, the ancient North Eurasians, the Northeast Asians, which is your Siberians and stuff like that, they mix and they have contribute to the genetic profile of a vast number of present-day Eurasian populations, as well as Native Americans. Of Native Americans. That's the introduction of it. He said, can I screenshot this? I don't care. Y'all can screenshot anything that I post up. I want y'all to do y'all own research. Don't take my word for it. I challenge people to read. I challenge people to research this. So this is why we say the terminology is different. But due to Reconstruction history, Jim Crow, Walter Plecker, and all these other things that came with the ethnocide and the ethnic cleansing of my culture of Mississippians, they are the ones that was truly contributing, not all of them, but those who are in power and who is in bed with their other ancestors from ancient times. They are contributing to actual indigenous erasure. Because when you erase the Mississippian culture, you start to erase the Alaskan natives' culture. Because we are the ones that they met when they came over here. Some went to war with each other. Some lived in peace and harmony with each other. Some shared cultures. Some mixed and had Afro-Alaskan native babies. You see what they look like too. Trust me. But anyways, do y'all research Grand Rising? What's happening? These are opinions and theories. No, they're not. This is a whole genetic test database. They don't want to be called Alaskans. Are we going to talk about the native tribes of the Americas? Nate Dogg, we always talk about the native tribes in America. What you want to know about them? So, again,
Hey, Nate Douglas.
Word. So now, the word of today, I gave you 2 words of the week. The first word is ethnocide. The next word is exonym. And I'm going to give you a sneak peek to the next live. But an exonym again is a name for a place or a group of people that is only used outside of that place or group. As an example, Navajo is an exonym. They really call themselves Dane or Diane, or however you pronounce it, D-I-N-E or D-E-N-E, which takes you back to the Athabaskan, or however you pronounce it, which are Alaskan natives. And there's 53 languages, and they all done spoke it to us on these panels, mocking the fact that we went through an ethnocide. Those that come on our panels mocking us are the ones that know, because they have a guilty soul. Because we wasn't supposed to find out who we was. We wasn't supposed to start digging into history. It's the reason why they banned us from reading books. We was never illiterate. We could always read, y'all. So don't ever believe that slave narrative. All right? If we was illiterate, why are you banning us from reading? That don't make sense. If you illiterate, I'll give you all the books in the world. You ain't gonna figure it out. But a lot of them that come on here disrespecting us, a lot of them are the ones that know. A lot of them are the ones whose ancestors did take your identity, or did kick you out the tribe, or did turn their back on you. A lot of them. And they know this. This why they come on here sounding like Jim Crow. That's why I be saying it in the comments. God damn, boy, I stepped back in 1920s. Y'all be this guy Lee. Made me feel like y'all was up under them hoods too. Hint, hint. But anyways, another word is an exonym, is the word Moor. Oh yes, Moors, I got y'all on the next slide. The word Moor is an exonym. What is an exonym again? A name of a place or people that is only used outside of the group. All right. Meaning, when we leave this house, we go by this name. But when we in the comfort of our own crib, we can be us and do what we want to do. All right. These certain people have been hiding in history to avoid persecution all through history. Moor is just another exonym and another title or name that they go by. There's another name deeper than that. And I challenge Moors to find that. I'm fine. Hey, look. But anyways, the term Moor is an exonym first used by early Christian Europeans. Again, Moors of ancient times never referred to themselves as Moors. They had a tribe, they had a language, they had a religion, a tradition, a culture, and everything. So it was first used by Christian Europeans to designate the Muslim inhabitants of the Maghreb, the Iberian Peninsula, Sicily, and Malta during the Middle Ages. The Moors initially were the indigenous Maghreb Berbers. But here's where it get twisted. Listen, here's where it get twisted. All right. Are the Berbers Moors? And the answer is no. Because Moors can be any racially mixed ethnic group who live in the southern Iberian Peninsula. In other words, the Moors could be European, they could be brown, Berber, Arab, black, mixed, anything. It's a title. It's an exonym. Who are you for real? So since we know it's an exonym, check this exonym out. Who are the descendants of this so-called exonym of Moors? The modern day descendants of the Moors are a plethora of nations. a plethora of nations, right? A multitude of nations. Because what did we just read? A more can be racially any damn thing, right? All right. So it's a plethora of nations. And they include the present day so-called African Americans and Native Americans. The modern day Moors are the so-called Negroes, Negritos, African Americans, coloreds, blacks, and anything else you want to label them in history. They are also blacks, and they are also the ancient Phoenicians, Greeks, Tartars, look, man, Etruscans, black nobility. Look, man, look. Moor's a title, and you ain't gonna find no land patent with that terminology in it. It is a plethora of nations coming together. It's all that is. And they can be mixed, they can be brown, they can be Berber, they can be Arab, they can be European. Or more can be any damn thing at this point. It's why when you do your census records, you're not going to find more. And if you do find more, he's going to be a Turk, Muslim, German dude. Because that's where it started from, on that end, technically. But outside of that, and you can't say that a nation, Morocco and all that, because Morocco is literally an English word. And it comes from a Spanish word, which comes from a Latin word. Which still ain't got nothing to do with the Ottoman Empire. Because back then when the Ottoman Empire was beefing and shit, there was no Morocco then. It was only Mauritania. But what families was fighting though? Because the Ottoman Empire is a family empire. So who was fighting the Ottoman Empire? The Alawite dynasty. Who whooped the Ottoman Empire's ass? The Alawite dynasty. Who controls today Morocco, which speaks French mainly, and Mauritania, and anything else that's dealing with Morocco and Islam and Muslimhood and all that other stuff? The Alawite dynasty. Who conquered Egypt? The Alawite dynasty. Y'all see where I'm going with this? Alright. So, and they go by Moors too. Because again, a Moor can be racially any damn thing. And Christians use that to designate Muslim inhabitants. Muslim. Who were you before Muslim was created? And I don't want to hear that Muslim always been around. You got to show me some Muslim always been around documentation. I gotta see a picture of a Mayan with a prayer mat praying to the east and going into a mosque. Because all I see is indigenous people going to mounds and pyramids, not a mosque. The mosque came. The pyramids always been. And to be honest, I also got documentation that during the Muslim and Moor invasions, they tore down Hinduism and Brahmanism statues and put up Moorish architecture. So they destroyed things that was already there to build theirs. So a lot of these structures around the world, that's Moorish architect. It wasn't always there. Yeah, it was. No, it wasn't. A lot of that shit was destroyed. And y'all built that there. Because y'all not the oldest fucking religion on earth. Y'all knew. Like Christianity. So you can't sit here and tell me that it was always there when y'all knew. Stop playing. But I got a laugh for y'all. I got a laugh for y'all though tomorrow. Buckle up, Moors. You in for a wild ride. About to take you on that Batman ride at Six Flags and shit. But back on track though. The Athabascans, Navajos, Apaches, Alaskan natives, Afro-Alaskan natives. I really want to show y'all at least one picture to spark your interest on them. Because I researched them last night when I got off work sitting in the car. And I'm talking about, like, I was, this last tail end of this information, I was sitting in the car damn near like 1, 2 in the morning, like just making the collage and shit. And then I was like, let me see something, because they got an afro for every fucking thing. Let me see Afro-Alaskan native. I popped that shit up, I was like, nigga. Y'all be calling us wild boys too with them. This why y'all be on each other panels and shit. But you know, when y'all be like, well, what happened to the melanated Siberians? Oh, you mean those Afro-Alaskan natives? Oh, they still there. They be on the panels with them. They be on the reds with them. They be calling you wild boys too. They be coming out with songs and shit straight off the reds and all that. Yeah, she's an Afro-Alaskan native. Matter of fact. Until she proved that her people came from Mississippi to everybody. Because you be siding with them like you one of them. But I ain't going to say too much though. Fine and said do it. Let me see if I screenshot. I said that, oh. It said, okay, hold on. I'm going to give y'all a quick synopsis.
You screenshot the Afro-Alaskans, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, because I was about to say, if you didn't, I did.
Oh, what you got? You got the same pictures?
I'm a post this other one. Hold on.
Okay.
But I
Yeah,
got some of those, yeah. But then it's just one.
I said the Rocky. Teach me how to make a collage.
I'm gonna have to crop it. I'm gonna be right back.
Alright. He said, teach me how to make a collage. I use Facebook, Bass. I go on my Facebook stories, and I do my collages there, and I just save them. I could do it. I could probably screen record it, how I do it, and send it to you if that helps. Ah, there we go. Hold on. Let me switch it. She got crop it.
It's the hair for me.
Can't see nothing. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, we see it now. That's another version of an Afro-Alaskan native. And you can tell by like the eyebrow bridges. Of course, they're gonna have the cheekbones because technically we all Asiatic. You know. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So technically, you know, you see the eyebrow bridges. Of course, you're gonna have the high cheekbones because we all Afro-Asiatic technically. Of course, you're gonna have our nostrils because you mix with us. So when you come over here, like when I showed you with the ancestors that mixed anciently, and the first people came over here, and those that branched off, some of them mixed with us, of course. You know what I'm saying? And certain of the offsprings came out looking like this, which would be your Afro natives, right? So they came out looking like this. But the funny thing about this is that most of these folks will only date YT people or other Native Americans that's lighter than them. So after a while, their kids won't look like this either, and they'll start looking more like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So peep game. So this why they always got to keep one or two around. Black grandmama in the closet. Cause that black grandmama gonna lead them back to that water. Yep. So they look like this, and they look like this. But they all come from this. And if you mix us with that, you get the girl in the corner. That's why I also told y'all to look up Blasian people as well, because Blasian people is also another phenotype. Said the nose always tells, yup. So this is why you don't really hear a lot of the so-called Afro natives. You don't hear them talk about Mississippi either. Unless it's like one of their elders who's like a full-blooded Mississippian when they go back on that side. But when they go on that other side, that they know that they be hiding, because they be hiding them too. All of them be hiding their grandmamas. That's why we've been asking people, man, show your grandmama, show your grandma. We've been asking that shit for 3 years. Only one person that showed their grandmama in 3 years. Nobody else want to show their grandmama. We don't even care about your name, your documentation. We just want to see what your people look like. Nobody want to show their people. And I know they got pictures. Everybody got family pictures. So I ain't trying to hear that they ain't got no pictures. Everybody got family pictures. Most of these people that's calling us Wibos, a lot of them are Afro natives. A lot of them got grandparents that look like us in the closet. And then you can see the ones who's not mixed with them that come on the panels too. I'm showing y'all the phenotypes so y'all can see next time and throughout the day and forever on your journeys when you come across them. They hit your panels and everything like this, trying to disrespect you and everything like this. Now you know their history. Now you know about the Athabaskan. Now you know about the 53 different languages, and that the Navajo and Apache can actually go to Alaska and conversate with them people because it's the same language. Because they're the same people that descend from the same people. Some stayed in Alaska, some left. That's all that happened. They trying to run away from themselves. Yup. That's all they doing. They trying to run away from themselves. They keep their language and cultures, but don't have pics of their fourth grandparents. They're suspect. Exactly. Because there's also a thing that happened too that a lot of us be talking about, especially called the orphan train. A lot of their ancestors were orphans and kids when they came over here. This is why there's different waves. So you had some elders that came, and then you had, some kids, woo woo. But the recent wave is the ones that came and was ended up in the boarding school. So you have a lot of generations, probably like 400, maybe 300 years of boarding schools and kids being taken from their parents. So a lot of them don't know their history. A lot of them only know what the schools and told them. A lot of them only know what the sellout elders and told them. Like, a lot of them don't really know where they come from. This is why we got called all so types of different names when we be like, oh, you Navajo, you Apache. All right, y'all come from Alaska. Most definitely. You know, I appreciate you for coming up. You know, you're always welcome to the panel. I'm glad you're going live more. It gets easier with time. Told you. But, you know, we ain't come from Alaska. We're not Alaskan. Yes, you are. Native American. Alaskan natives. American Indian. You know what I'm saying? Two different people. That's why they have the or in it. Or. Yes, technically, linguistic wise, political wise, and all that, technically, yes, you are native to Alaska, which is now a part of America. So yes, you are a native America. But before they bought everything, that wasn't always that. Okay? But now, yes, after Reconstruction era and all that, then yes. You know what I'm saying? We've been here on this soil. Well, since Alaska is technically connected to this soil in Canada and shit, then yes, technically you have been on this soil. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of y'all ancestors didn't come from this soil. You know what I'm saying? This why they always use complex and multifaceted. You know what I'm saying? I said when I was on live with my candles, I had zero problems. Most definitely, because, you know, you making candles, you doing something, you know what I'm saying, good. You coming over to the dark side now of history. So, you know, but appreciate that. Shout out to all the new followers. Thanks for the gifts. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the new members and hearts. Peace to the panel. And shout out to everybody that's in here from start to finish. Shout out to all the Native Americans that's watching from the hallways, that's learning something that you probably didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all go do y'all research. I hope y'all go question y'all elders about some shit. I hope y'all want to take a trip to Alaska and talk to them people in y'all language and see if y'all can hold a basic conversation, because I bet y'all can. Shout out to y'all. This is no disrespect. This is not indigenous erasure, because I'm just telling indigenous history, right? All right? Okay. And shout out to my Mississippians for finding out who we are and finding out that our culture was ethnocided. And not only was it ethnocided, we went through 100 years of genocide as well, plus more years. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to us for finding who we are, finding our roots, finding just our soul and our spirit and our mind again. You know what I'm saying? Understanding what happened to us, because we know we ain't African. And those who are African, cool, bro. We ain't got no beef with y'all. Like I always say, if you African and you got it in your tree, you found it, y'all got stories from history, cousins, and all that type of shit, cool, man. Straight. But y'all forgetting about the free colors that was on the census records. And a lot of us wasn't slaves. And a lot of us wasn't Africans. But, you know, I digress. You know what I'm saying? I digress, though. Said they'll be live tomorrow, like they found it. Oh yeah. Yep. Hold on, got a phone call. I'm sorry, but one of my mods, can y'all get I'm Connie 63 up out of here? Yeah, they'll go live. You'll hear the talking points. You'll hear the history and everything. But, you know, they learning. They gonna be learning. Appreciate that. We ain't got time for that other side to be getting gems and shit like that. Do y'all own research, even though y'all be watching from the hallways too. I thought you was a mod, Bass. Bass, you got like 50 pages, man. You gotta stop, dog. You filling up my moderation list, man. But with that being said, anybody Anybody want to come to the panel? It's an open panel. If you want to come to the panel, drop some gems, add some gems, some past gems about Eskimos and Alaskan natives and all that type of stuff, and anything that I link, anything that I connect some gems that we learn, that we teach. You know what I'm saying? Give me some feedback. Give me a good peer review. But it's an open panel. If anybody want to add something before we get ready to close it out, we're going to have open dialogue for like 5-10 minutes. Shit, nah, this is my live page. I thought I had that one as a moderator. Most definitely. Shop Unique Sense. Always. Oh, CEO, what's happening? That sun blazing on my end. Gino? Y'all know I always appreciate y'all tuning in, man. For real, for real. Anytime I can come live and he said, I got you. I said, and I got you. Oh, and trust, this is only the beginning of this story. Their history gets deep. I'm talking about we going to go back, since now we got a location and a mixture, we going to go back further in time to the ancient Eurasian ancestry and the northeastern ancestry, when they met and how they met and why they came over here. Now we about to go further back. All right? We about to go further back into the rabbit hole. And then, what I'm going to do too, before this year out, probably like a little Christmas special live, we going to take everything that we done learned, timelines and all, and we going to put this motherfucking puzzle piece together. So I need all my heavy hitters who got a piece of the puzzle